You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Oh, man, we got a lot to talk about on the program, so don't miss anything. Some big news just came out. You know, wokeness is totally collapsing all over the country. It's just stupid. Liberals, liberals always have boundary problems. They always push. They get a victory and they push. And of course, yesterday, Ron DeSantis took over Disney and was talking about this on the radio show this morning, and people were like, well, they're still woke, and well, it's been 24 hours, okay? Give some time. And there's been a big development at Disney, in Hollywood, that shows that Ron DeSantis taking over Walt Disney World here in Florida, he took control of it yesterday from the Disney company, that their wokeness is slowly, it's not going to happen overnight, but the wokeness at Disney is taking a hit.
I'm curious as to what this means as far as it really only affects Walt Disney World Park more than the, don't you think?
No, because that is a big cash cow for Disney. So listen to this. This is a massive story, okay? One of the biggest woke decisions that Disney out in Hollywood made has been reversed. And it was reversed the day after Governor Ron DeSantis, the governor of Ron DeSantis' Free Florida, we've renamed the state, took over Walt Disney World. Gina Carano was fired by Disney from The Mandalorian. Remember this?
Yes.
Axed, and that's kind of when the woke thing really took off, right? With them, they got out of control. Axed the Mandalorian star, Gina Carano, will remain on the show in the new season. So they have brought back Gina Carano to The Mandalorian, and she had some tweets, that they didn't like, and they fired her because of wokeness.
So what do you think that's about? Are they trying to reverse their woke attitude? If the same people are running the company, it's hard to believe that they've had this change of heart. I think this is purely business, and people that are higher up, like Bob Iger,
board of directors,
people that are higher up than these woke people running have finally put their foot down, and they're telling them it's got to stop. And she's really good on that show. She was a main character, and after they fired her, I like the show, but I kind of was really soured on it. So now that she's coming back, I'll definitely make sure to watch it. And Grogu's still going to be on it.
Well, yeah. So it
is a really good show.
Let me read through this. It says here, Mandalorian star Gina Carano will remain in the show. Disney Plus made this announcement. And by the way, they fired her 2 years ago. So it's not an accident that this announcement comes the day after Ron DeSantis took over Walt Disney World here in Florida. So this is really, really amazing. Okay, so let me get into the main story here right in the beginning. I hate when I'm listening to a podcast or watching someone on YouTube and they get to the thumbnail or the title of the program in the last 30 seconds. I don't like to do that. I like to get to it right in the beginning. We have a lot of other things to talk about, which we'll get into. There is a new poll, a new Republican primary presidential poll, and Donald Trump does not only have a lead that's double digit.
Who did the poll?
He has a massive lead. I'll get to all of that as we go on, but he has a massive lead in the new poll, and it's actually described as a gargantuan lead. Okay,
that's a word you don't hear very often.
Gargantuan.
Anymore. Gargantuan.
It's
a good word.
I'm reading that in this article. It's in Mediaite. I don't know if I've ever read the word gargantuan.
What does it look like? It's a big word. It's a
GARGANTUAN.
Because I don't even know how to spell that word, and I'm a pretty good speller.
Gargantuan. So listen to this. Donald Trump. This is massive. Donald Trump holds gargantuan leads, plural, over his Republican rivals in a new poll, beating Florida Governor Ron DeSantis by 30 points in a full field and crushing Nikki Haley by 61 points. So he's 30 points ahead of DeSantis, 61 points ahead of Nikki Haley. And, you know, all these people that are writing Trump off and he's not going to be around and, you know, people are tired of Trump. None of this is true.
No, it's not.
And that is massive. You know, Ron DeSantis, we love Ron DeSantis, not as much as Trump, and I will never vote for anyone running against Donald Trump, okay? So I'm Trump all the way. But Ron DeSantis, and I'm going to make a case to prove my theory, okay? I believe, and I've believed this for a few weeks now, maybe 3 weeks, 3 weeks, something happened. I believe Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump are working together. I don't believe, even if Ron DeSantis announces he runs and it runs in the primaries, they are still working together. And I'm going to make my case and explain
I still think
it.
That's crazy.
No, it's not crazy. And I'll tell you what first made me think that, and then I'll tell you the new thing that today that really firmed it up for me. Okay, now I started realizing this about 2 or 3 weeks ago. They both spoke at a private Republican fundraiser with very elite Republicans at Trump's Doral Resort in Miami. They both spoke there. So that
not together. Trump called in or something.
It was Trump's resort. DeSantis went there in person. Right. Trump called in, and that to me was like, whoa, that's interesting.
That was interesting.
And then I started realizing something that's pretty big. Donald Trump, you know, in the midterm elections, we won the House of Representatives. We fired Nancy Pelosi. It's a MAGA house that's controlled by Donald Trump, and that's all a great thing right now.
Yeah.
The Senate was not possible to take over. There weren't enough seats up of the Democrats. There weren't enough Democrat seats to flip to take it over. Next time, there's a lot. I can't remember the exact number, but there's a lot of Democrat seats that are up in the next election it's less than 2 years now, a year and a half. We would have done better in the House races if Trump's rallies were carried on television. They just weren't. They're carried on Newsmax, and I know a lot of people say, well, I watch on Right Side. Most people don't watch Right Side broadcasting that watch the news. So a lot of people who get their news from cable news think Trump's not even on the scene anymore, right? And
he's very much on the scene, but it's more behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's
right now.
Well, this is the thing. So if they would have carried his rallies, I think we would have done better in the House and overall. But a lot of people didn't realize
for sure.
He was campaigning, so it didn't mobilize the vote. And this is the thing. In the last election, when Trump was running for re-election, he was unopposed. The cable news and the news would not carry his rallies. Yeah. He was running unopposed. There were no debates. Debates are done by the cable outlets and the networks, and they're carried live on national television. And when they have them, since there is a Republican primary with a rock star like Ron DeSantis running against the super rock star Donald Trump, and there's some other people like Nikki Haley, and there'll be others. There will be many Republican primary debates done by NBC, CBS, ABC, Fox, CNN, MSNBC, and they're all going to be televised. So I think DeSantis is running against Donald Trump. Not really, they're running together, but I think he's running or will announce he's running so that President Trump can get all of the television coverage from the debates, which is going to happen. So that's why I think they are working together. And then today, something else popped up in my mind. And you guys listening to the program, let me know in the comments your thoughts on this. Kathy will tell you she thinks I'm nuts. But here's the other thing.
Well, that's beside the fact.
Okay. Ron DeSantis had this humongous victory taking over Walt Disney World. Yeah. I'm not going to talk about it too much now because I did a whole show on it this morning. You guys can listen to that show because I went through the whole thing. I don't want to do that over again here. So go and watch that. But Ron DeSantis' victory over Walt Disney World, taking it over, and don't let anyone tell you he did not. If someone tells you he didn't take over Walt Disney World in Florida, they're either a liberal trying to deflect or they're an uninformed person, okay? He took over the governing body of this. I'll give you just a capsulized version for those that don't know. Walt Disney World had their own city and government. It's called Reedy Creek, the Reedy Creek Improvement.
It's like the Vatican, really. It's kind of a city within a city, and they're very self-governing.
Well,
they're not beholden to the county. laws.
Disney was 100% self-governing.
Yeah.
And
their own fire department.
Well, they have a city council that was all handpicked by Disney. So, So DeSantis took that over, and the only people that will be on that board now are people that are handpicked by the governor of Florida, whoever they are at that particular time. After DeSantis, the next governor will pick them. And they have all kinds of things. They have their own fire department, their own building inspectors, their own fire inspectors. They have everything. They're totally autonomous.
Do you think they're going to go in and see if all the buildings are up to code?
If Disney,
I mean, they might get slapped with millions in fines.
If Disney gives pushback to Ron DeSantis, they'll go in and sit in the fire inspectors.
He owns them.
So again, I did a whole show on that today where I went into everything about it in detail. So I'm not going to do that now. I just wanted to give you just a vague generalization of what happened. This is the first time that a top Republican has taken on a major corporation and broken them. This has never happened before. You know what? And I'm trying to think, even with presidents have done things like Ronald Reagan fired the air traffic controllers. That's not a major corporation of donors. President Trump did get Mexico to pay for the wall when he renegotiated NAFTA, and he got the Mexican government to send their army to our southern border, their northern border to stop it and all that stuff. That's pretty big. But other than a president, no Republican, except for a president or two, has been able to do what Ron DeSantis did. He stood up to a major international corporation that donates boatloads of money to politicians, and he didn't compromise one
he didn't back down.
Centimeter, and he totally crushed them. They even hired him back, Gina Carano. Okay, so just finish this, Kathy. So this is this has kind of popped in my head today because Ron DeSantis's book is coming out tomorrow. Kathy and I have it. It's going to be delivered to our house tomorrow.
Yes, we got the hardcover because we're going to read it, and then my mom wants to read it. We're going to pass it around to all. Of course, I guess I should tell them to buy it.
Tell them to buy it because I'm going to.
Because I'm sure my stepmom will want to read it.
We're not a library, but anyway. So
okay.
So plus, I want to take it and show everybody on YouTube at work. But the thing about Ron DeSantis, Ron DeSantis, if he were to really run against Donald Trump, like if he was, I think he's going to announce and be in the primaries of the TV and everything. But if he was really running and try to knock Trump out of the way, it would be a nasty fight.
It would be very
nasty.
And
it would be, in my opinion, career-ending for Ron DeSantis.
I think it'd be a huge mistake.
Because MAGA people, even MAGA people here in Florida like us, would never forgive him for it. And he doesn't have a lot of places to go. We have term limits for Florida governors. He's in his second term. It's a 2-term limit. We have 2 people that are senators that aren't going anywhere, Little Marco and Rick Scott's our other senator. He was the governor before DeSantis, and he's very popular in Florida and very powerful in the Republican Party. The only place he has to go is the White House, the vice presidency or the presidency. He can't be Trump's VP because they both are Florida residents. So anyway, this book coming out, that would just be career ending of DeSantis's, this book coming out. Ron DeSantis has never made a bad decision in his life. His entire life has been,
I don't know, taking a picture with the students at a party was not the best decision.
He was a kid then. That's a kid. No. I'm talking about
25 years old.
I'm talking about,
that wasn't the best decision.
Kathy, I'm talking about since he's been in politics. He has never made a bad decision. Every decision, and we don't even know if that was a bad decision because we don't know the whole story yet. Every decision Ron DeSantis has made in his life has been a good decision. He has never made a decision in his professional life that was anything other than perfect. And someone who has made such good decisions throughout their entire career is not all of a sudden going to make a career destructive decision like this.
I agree with you on that.
So, yeah.
Well, I wanted to say about the Disney thing, the reason that happened is 2 reasons. Disney basically threatened DeSantis and threatened to fund a bunch of, but this all started with the Don't Say Gay bill, which is what they like to call it, where DeSantis gave parents the right to have more rights with schools, with kids being taught certain things, the trans agenda and things like that. And parents were outraged. There's a lot of parental groups that are really heavily involved in this. and libs of TikTok exposed a lot of what's going on. So he has this bill, and they call it the Don't Say Gay bill, which is not true, where you cannot discuss anything involving LGBTQ third grade or under, which I think it should cover fifth grade and under. I think it should be all of elementary school, personally. And Disney got on board with this and got involved. And he did a press conference here. He said, look, this is a California company. They're not going to come to Florida like a bunch of carpetbaggers and tell us how to run our state. And he said they can leave their liberal agenda in their state. That's why the people live there and pay taxes and vote. But here, it's a red state, and we don't want that here. And we're not going to let some California liberals tell us what to do. And that's really what started that. And then they threatened him, saying they were going to fund heavily anybody who opposed him when he was going to run for governor. So I think he took that very personally. And I think the fact that it's a California company, if it was a Florida company, I don't know if we would have the same thing happening. But I think the fact that it was a California company coming here and telling us what to do with our laws is what really pissed him off. He's a Florida guy. He's a Florida resident, born and raised. His wife's from Ohio, but he's a Floridian. And went to school here. I did go to Harvard, but I think he went to high school here. Obviously, I know that. But he wasn't going to have that. He's like, how dare you come to my state and tell me what the hell to do with my people? And I thought that really was fantastic. And so that's why that all happened with Disney. If it was a Florida-based company, I don't think we would have the same outcome here.
So a guy that's made all these great decisions, and believe me, he knows that he's 30 points behind Trump. This is an Emerson College poll.
That's true.
And everything else.
He's not a stupid man.
No, he's not going to all of a sudden start making bad decisions. Now,
I agree with you on that.
Now, I want to talk just for a moment here about the MyPillow 2.0. Kathy and I have been sleeping on the MyPillow 2.0. It'll be 2 weeks tomorrow. And the MyPillow 2.0 is Mike Lindell's new pillow. It has cooling technology in it as well as the patented fill. And, Rome, Wisconsin called me yesterday. She got her MyPillow 2.0s.
Oh.
And she said something that was really interesting. The MyPillow 2.0 with the cooling technology stops your head and face from getting warm or hot at night. So you'll never flip your pillow over again.
It's true.
Every time you flip your pillow over, even if you don't remember it, you've woken up, you've interrupted your sleep, and it interrupts your rested sleep. Rome, Wisconsin said that every night before she had the MyPillow 2.0, she would wake up and her hair was like sticking to her face and head because she was sweating at night.
And she lives in Wisconsin where it's cold.
Well,
so
I don't know.
Women just have that problem at a certain age.
Well,
that's for sure.
She said with the MyPillow 2.0 that didn't happen.
No,
because her head
really
didn't get
doesn't.
hot.
You can feel the coolness. And even if you live up north in Wisconsin like Rome, you could live in minus 10 degree weather. You're obviously going to have the heat on in your house. So your home is climate controlled. Or, you're going to keep it between 65 and 70 degrees in the wintertime, right? You're still going to experience, because you give off body heat, especially at night, and especially if you're a woman who's over a certain age, you're going to have hot flashes. You're going to give off body heat. And it's so uncomfortable when your pillow and everything gets all hot and sweaty and it wakes you up and you have to keep flipping and flipping. I mean, it really is amazing how it keeps how it's so cool. And when you feel a pillow, you can feel it. This new thread he's using, it's amazing.
Yeah. Now, the MyPillow 2.0 is buy one, get one free at MyPillow.com when you use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. But I'm telling you, this special is going to end without notice because I know I've had discussions with Mike Lindell's office. The MyPillow 2.0 is selling very far above their projections. And it comes at different sizes and different fill levels. And when they start to run low on inventory, they're going to have to end the buy one, get one special. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. And by the way, when you do that, you're supporting all of my content, the podcast with Kathy, my YouTube channel, the radio show, everything I do, you're supporting when you buy products at MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. So get your MyPillow 2.0, buy one, get one free with our promo code Kane, Kane. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for a unique and profitable business opportunity? Have you thought about an ignition interlock device business? To give offenders a second chance, courts are often willing to allow convicted DUI drivers to install interlock devices so they can continue to drive their vehicles. These devices work by having the driver perform a breathalyzer test in order to start their car. More and more judges are offering these devices, and you can learn everything you need to know in the book, How to Start an Interlock Business, available online at theinterlockbook.com. This downloadable ebook has tons of useful information that you won't find anywhere else. In this must-read book, you'll learn how to find ignition interlock partners, how to pick the right business model, understand the different types of services, learn to analyze potential service center locations, discover how to streamline business operations, how to apply for the right business license, how to stay in compliance, and much, much more. What are you waiting for? Don't blow and drive. Read and buy the book, How to Start an Interlock Business, online at theinterlockbook.com. That's theinterlockbook.com. Want to know where all the bodies are buried? Author Robert Allen Miltenberg holds the key to that question in his book, Pool Boy to the Mob, Everybody Out of the Pool. Author Robert Allen Miltenberg holds the key to that question in his book, Pool Boy to the Mob. Welcome to Mob-Ammy Beach. This book is a fictionalized account of Miltenberg working at a mob-owned Miami Beach hotel in the 70s. If you're a fan of The Godfather, Goodfellas, or The Sopranos, you will love this story that's full of colorful characters and wisecracking wise guys. It's a story with everything from Playboy bunnies and weaponized parrots to shattering the glass ceiling and getting away with murder, all in paradise. This is a wise guy tale you've never heard. Surrounded by pools, the trick for Bobby Moskowitz was not slipping in the one thicker than water. Bobby lived to tell the tales, and now you can read all about it. The funniest mob novel since Jimmy Breslin's The Gang That Couldn't Shoot Straight. Pool Boy to the Mob, Everybody Out of the Pool, from author Robert Allen Miltenberg, available on Amazon. Order your copy right now. If you're an e-commerce seller or aspiring to be one, you'll require assistance from professionals who have expertise in various areas like SMM marketing, digital marketing, SEO, graphic design, web development, and that's just the beginning. At eMars Pro, they employ effective tactics as well as strategies that most brands and retailers are not familiar with. The eMars Pro e-commerce digital marketing consultants will work with you based on the latest marketing trends, utilizing their high level of expertise to deliver results. With over 5 years in the industry, they've served over 100 clients and have a team of over 50 expert e-commerce consultants, handling account management for e-commerce marketing channels like Amazon, Walmart, and Shopify. Their success and growth rate stands at an impressive 99%, and they have a proven track record of effectively handling projects of any size and complexity. Partner with eMars Pro today and let them help you build and grow your e-commerce business. Visit their website, emarspro.com. That's EMARSPRO.com, or call them directly, 682-472-4939, 682-472-4939. Request a free e-commerce audit and schedule a free consultation call. EMARSPRO.com. Get started on your journey to success right now. If you're into spirituality or manifesting with the law of attraction or the law of assumption, check out AskYourSoul.org, where you will find a lot of unique digital manifestation-related products that will help you change your life and become the best version of yourself. AskYourSoul.org also offers beautiful customized jewelry and other great tools to help you on your spiritual journey. Go right now to AskYourSoul.org. That's AskYourSoul.org.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. I was telling Kathy during the break that I think Scott Adams, the Dilbert creator, got himself canceled on purpose.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear
Kathy
this.
thinks I'm nuts. I'll tell you about that in a few minutes, okay? Today's the last day of Black History Month. It's February 28th. Biden was talking to people at the White House about Black History Month and said something that's just so bizarre. So let me play this for you. You know, Biden, anytime he talks to a group of people, he says something or does something to make them to try to act like he's part of them. Like, remember,
like he's down with them.
Remember when he addressed that group of Hispanic people and he pulled out a phone and started playing some Spanish music?
Yeah, it's his hot sauce moment.
You know, it was so bizarre.
Yeah, he's pandering.
You know, so he's talking to guests at the White House who are African American about Black History Month, and he says this.
And by the way, you know, I'm not. I may be a white boy, but I'm not stupid. I know where the power is. I know where the. You think I'm joking? I learned a long time ago about the Divine Nine.
Okay, the Divine Nine. I'll tell you about that in a minute. One of Biden's tells, you know, people that are compulsive liars have a tell. Bill Clinton's tell was he would bite his lip.
Yes.
When he was lying.
Or point his finger.
Yeah. Or just open his mouth and words come out. But Joe Biden, when he's telling a story that's a total made-up story,
let me guess what you're going to say.
He says, well, how will you truly know if it's what I'm going to say?
I'm going to guess.
What?
See if I'm right. He says true story.
I'm not joking.
I'm not joking.
I'm not joking.
Or true story. Yeah,
okay.
I'm not joking.
So at the end, he said this thing here, the Divine Nine, right?
I know where the. You think I'm joking? I learned a long time ago about the Divine Nine.
Okay, he learned a long time ago about the Divine Nine. I have never heard of the Divine Nine.
Neither.
So I Googled it. And the Divine Nine are the 9 black fraternities and sororities, or at least the original 9. They call them the Divine Nine.
Okay.
So who's ever heard of that? Who has ever heard of that?
Nobody.
Who's not in the Black Greek system? The Divine Nine.
Yeah, never heard of that.
I haven't either, and why? Either is Biden. So
No,
then
exactly. He's a fraud.
He's just a lie. But so this part here, though, I wanted to share.
Is he going to tell everybody he was in a black fraternity too?
And he used to be black.
God,
yeah.
He's such a ridiculous.
By the way, you know, I'm not. I may be a white boy, but I'm not stupid.
Okay. Then the laugh track sounds like a laugh track, doesn't it? From
Yeah.
like an '80s sitcom.
Are we watching a sitcom? I think so.
Yeah, I wish. No, this is real life. So he says, I may be a white boy, but I ain't stupid. See, this is amazing. Biden, I wish we could get a true behind-the-scenes look at this White House, okay? Biden is so checked out. Yeah. He doesn't know where he is, who he is. He probably thinks he's vice president half the time at the White House.
He calls Kamala the president all the time.
Yeah. And
You're probably right.
So when he talks to these groups, Biden is not with it enough to come up with things like this with these groups. So these are things that are written for him.
Yeah, of course.
So there is this part of the critical race theory stuff that's going on is that white people are stupid and don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And things need to be explained to us. It's really racist.
Yeah, very much.
And they did this at the Oscars last year. They had the 3 hosts, the 3 ladies.
Amy Schumer.
Amy Schumer
was the dumb one.
Yeah, Amy Schumer, Wanda Sykes, and I forget who the other
Regina
one was.
Hall.
Okay, Regina.
Who's very funny, by the way.
Yeah, and their whole act during the thing was Amy Schumer was too stupid to
be educated,
to understand what was going on,
right.
And they had to explain to her. And if you go back and watch those Oscars, I know everybody talks about the slap and all that, but of Will Smith, slapping Chris Rock, but if you go back and watch, she's even doing these very stereotypical, bizarre expressions and facial expressions that show Amy Schumer's doing them that she doesn't understand, and like she's mentally ill or deranged or
she's those
something.
things too.
Yeah,
not very funny.
So there's this theme with critical race theory that white people are stupid, don't understand what's going on in the real world, and have to be explained. So someone in the White House, and really it has to be done by committee because these are everything's done by a group of people at the White House with Biden. They actually put this on his teleprompter. I may be a white boy, but I may be a white boy, but I ain't stupid. I mean, how did that become part of a statement made by a president of the United States?
Well, you know what I think happened? He called that one guy a boy last week, and I think they had him call himself a boy to kind of.
He just calls everybody boy.
Yeah, I think they use that terminology to kind of negate him calling that black guy boy.
Yeah.
Saying like, I'm calling my, you know what I mean? Because that's really weird that he'd use the same terminology within a week or two of each other.
Yep. Yeah, so I mean that's just bizarre, and I think you made a point there, Kathy. They're trying to get him off the hook for that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This is weird that he'd use the same terminology speaking to a bunch of black people. They're really desperate to win back the black voter because they really did lose a lot with Trump, and I think they're going to lose even more. And I think they know the internals, and they see this happening because these Democratic-run cities. Did you see in Baltimore some black guy shot another black guy in broad daylight?
What happened? A man shot a homeless man.
Homeless man took out his gun. Not that anybody should intervene, but somebody filmed it. And this is a Democratic-run city. And a lot of these cities do have a high black population. And I think a lot of them, like what Trump said, what do you got to lose? I think they're finally waking up. And a lot of them have and have realized, you know what, I've been living here my whole life. I've been voting Democrat and I'm living in an S-hole, as Trump would call it. And there's crime everywhere and it's horrible. And I think that they've lost so many. They are desperate to get a lot of black people back on the liberal plantation.
So it's pandering.
So everything he says and does to a black audience is pandering, disingenuous. And I think because he made that slip and called that guy boy, that's why they had him say it to this black crowd.
Yeah, that was pretty bad when he said that. So Don Jr. today made a video and posted it online. Don Jr. made this video from his backyard at his house here in Florida. And Don Jr. lives in Jupiter, Florida. And I made a YouTube video when I went to—
He lives in a nice area.
I went to Martin County, and I started at the Jupiter Lighthouse. It's a very nice area.
Jupiter's very ritzy and very expensive.
And Don Jr. made this video. I'm going to play a clip of it. But in his backyard on the water, and you can see yachts coming by. It's really cool.
It's really nice there.
I think I did tweet this, but if I didn't, go look for it. You'll find it's pretty cool. But anyway, he's talking about Paul Ryan and him not being on Fox News. Don Jr. is talking about not being on Fox News for 6 months. Listen.
Is the guy on the board of Fox News, which also explains a lot about the direction and some of the content I'm seeing out there, folks. This explains to me almost everything, frankly. I know I haven't been invited on in 6 months, so I'm sure that's him pushing his Rhino, America Last, War Forever garbage fold to the Democrats' agenda.
Yeah.
Spot on with that.
I didn't realize Don Jr.'s not been on Fox News Channel for 6 months. And Paul Ryan said a couple days ago that—
He hasn't been on Hannity, which says a lot.
No, Paul Ryan said a couple days ago that if Trump is the nominee, he will not go to the Republican convention.
Who cares?
And exactly.
Nobody cares.
You know, when you see him giving interviews and talking, I'm talking about Paul Ryan, he is so in love with himself.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
He's ugly as heck. I mean, he's a weird-looking guy. They call him Eddie Munster.
Yeah.
And when I say that he's in love with himself and you can see it, he always has this smirk on his face. Like he's looking at himself in the monitor and he's like, I'm so good looking.
Yeah. No, he's definitely in love with himself. I'm surprised no women have come forward about him because I could see him kind of being, I don't know, but I don't like him.
Paul Ryan
never
has something dark going on. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to speculate on it.
Trump derangement syndrome. No, he's like Mitt Romney. He's obsessed with Trump.
There's more to it than that. Yeah. There's more to it than that.
He's obsessed with bringing him down, taking him down.
He's a young guy for a politician. Yeah. He stepped down from Congress speakership. Yeah. These guys never leave those jobs. Look, Nancy was speaker a couple of times, right? So that they don't walk away from those jobs, and he did.
Why do you think Fox hired him?
And they put him on the board of directors. Well, that's what happens when these people retire from government. They're put on the boards of directors of things. And I think that there's something scandalous that we don't know about that resulted in him leaving Congress, so it didn't come out.
I'm thinking too.
And now what his job is to do everything he can with conservative media to stop Trump from getting on television and getting publicity.
Well,
that's his main
Fox
job.
is behind getting OAN and Newsmax platformed. I don't think it's CNN. I think it's Fox behind this.
Absolutely.
Because it's competition. I mean, whenever Newsmax would have a Trump rally on a Saturday night, everybody would watch that, and Fox their ratings would be in the toilet, and nobody would watch their Saturday night lineup. Mm-hmm. And I think they see them. Trump is a part of it. But they see Newsmax as a huge threat. They have Greg Kelly. They have the other guy who's on Rob Schmidt, who's fantastic. The two of them. They have other people that are really good and carrying the Trump rallies. And they know when Trump starts really campaigning, He's going to be on Newsmax all the time. Now, you can still watch it on the app and on YouTube. So I would definitely download, if you have AT&T and you can't get it anymore, you can download the app or watch it on their YouTube channel. And the YouTube's great because there's a live chat. So if you like to chat and watch it, we do that sometimes. You can watch it there. Luckily, we still have it on Comcast, don't we? I think we still have it on
we still
our
have it on our
Comcast.
TV Newsmax.
Luckily, Comcast hasn't done anything.
For now.
So
now, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. Thank you, all of you. And if you would like to support the show by becoming a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the episode description and a direct link on my website, briancraigshow.com. And there are perks, there are benefits, including having access to commercial-free episodes of each and every podcast episode for those that are Patreon supporters. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air shout-out on every podcast episode. The top Patreon supporters, your names are listed in both the podcast descriptions and my live streams in the morning when I'm on the radio. The top Patreon supporters, you have your names listed in the descriptions of the episodes. And the names you will hear now are the names of our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Rome, Wisconsin, Mike P, Paulette, Carlos, and Maria. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you so much, everyone, for your support. All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, I'm going to talk about how I think Scott Adams got himself canceled on purpose. I know it sounds crazy, but I think you will all agree with me when I explain it when we get back. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back after this.
Add some cuteness to your life with adorable art from WinArts on Etsy. WinArts on Etsy is stocked with a wide variety of high-quality AI-generated art. When you visit the shop, check out their selection of cute art pieces, ranging from cuddly bears, foxes, cats, lambs, and a lot more. All the pieces are fun and adorable ways to make your day cuter. They're perfect for card making, invitations, scrapbooking, wall art, posters, screensavers, shelf decor, or any other project you can think of. Visit WinArts on Etsy to shop for yours right now. Online at winarts.etsy.com. That's winarts.etsy.com for high-quality AI-generated art. winarts.etsy.com. Sparky and Timmy's Quest for the Magical Crystal is a captivating and uplifting children's book from author Adonis E. Canseco, available on Amazon, and follows two unlikely companions on a mission to lift a long-standing curse that has plagued a small village. Upon discovering that the curse is linked to a stolen crystal guarded by a formidable dragon, Sparky and Timmy embark on a perilous journey to the dragon's lair, encountering various challenges along the way. Through their courage, cooperation, and quick thinking, they overcome these obstacles and succeed in their mission of returning the crystal to the village and earning the gratitude of its inhabitants. With its stunning illustrations, Sparky and Timmy's Dragon Adventure is the perfect choice for young readers 4 to 8 who enjoy stories of action, adventure, friendship, and heroism. Sparky and Timmy's Quest for the Magical Crystal from author Adonis E. Canseco is available on Amazon in Kindle and paperback. Order your copy right now. Discover a bittersweet love story cloaked with love and melodrama. From legendary record promoter and author Linda Wills comes the book Secrets of the Heart Bamboozled, available on Amazon. According to the World Health Organization, 30% of women worldwide have reported sexual, physical, or mental abuse. Follow the story of one strong survivor as she recounts the roller coaster ride of a lousy relationship with a Grammy award-winning singer-songwriter. What started as a romantic red carpet ride becomes an abusive relationship, leading to a journey to break free from the mistreatment. Secrets of the Heart Bamboozled is a compelling drama, bringing you insight into all too common situations that many women face. From author Linda Wills, Secrets of the Heart Bamboozled is available on Amazon. This book is perfect for book clubs. Order your copy right now. Are you looking for inspiration? Are you ready to move from being tired to being inspired? Work can be stressful and a burden, but it doesn't have to be. Now is the time to take the first step to improve your well-being and your quality of life. You can regain your enthusiasm and enjoy what you do with the book Burnout Recovery Guide for Female Entrepreneurs from author Cassia Richter. In this must-read and life-changing book, you will find that perfect balance so everything can fall into place for you. All the strategies and tools you need are found in this informative and useful book. Burnout slowly creeps to the surface and can easily steal your joy without you even noticing it. By learning to watch out for the signs and find solutions before it's too late, you can avoid its detrimental effects. If you want to have it all, a thriving career, pristine mental health, and a happy family life, then buy this book today. Burnout Recovery Guide for Female Entrepreneurs from author Cassia Richter is available on Amazon and at wellbeingstrategist.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. So, I want to talk about this with Scott Adams. I'm not going to go through the whole background of Scott Adams, and what happened to him this week, but he said some very stupid things, and it resulted in Scott Adams, who I don't know I know he's the creator of Dilbert. I don't know what his politics really are. I don't know if he's conservative, libertarian, liberal. I don't know if he's MAGA, if he's a never-Trumper. I don't know. Gutfeld likes him on Fox. He talks about him from time to time. So he said some really stupid things, and he got thrown out of all the newspapers that carried Dilbert pretty much. And he even lost the distributor of his Dilbert cartoon. And it's not easy, I would imagine, to get your comic strip in a newspaper. No. And I know everyone is saying Scott Adams doesn't care. He has FU money. Don't be so sure about that. He does a live stream on YouTube every morning, late in the morning, like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
10 o'clock, coffee with Scott or something.
If he was worth $50 million, would he be so regular with that?
I don't know. He's just bored.
No, I heard him a couple years back. Scott Adams, I've never read Dilbert. I'm familiar with it. I've never read it.
I've never read it either.
But
it's like office humor.
Yeah.
Like in the office setting, I think.
Yeah. I don't read cartoons and comic strips. Never was into that even really as a kid. But I did know of him a little bit because he was on Periscope. Remember, if you guys remember me, I was on Periscope, and it no longer exists. But he was on that. I was on it. And the two of us were two of the biggest guys on Periscope before it went away, There were some others. Jack Posobiec was there, and a few others of us. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there were some other conservatives there too. But anyway, when he went to YouTube a couple years back, I can't remember if this was 2 years ago, 4 years ago, or 5 years ago, but within the last 5 years, I heard him complaining about his YouTube revenue.
Yeah.
Okay. And if somebody's worth $50 million from this cartoon, they're not griping about their YouTube revenue. It's a hobby, if anything. You understand what I mean? It just seemed a little, but he may be worth $100 million.
Well, you said don't be so sure.
I don't. Yeah, and here's where there was an announcement today. There was an announcement this morning about Scott Adams that made me think that he did this on his own. Newspapers, they're not what they used to be. Okay, our local newspaper is so thin. I am not exaggerating.
Oh, it's crazy.
My high school newspaper was about the same size as our local newspaper, which used to be a major newspaper. Okay. And newspapers are done. So whatever newspapers pay comic strips, I don't know what they ever paid, but whatever they pay now is a lot less than they used to pay.
Maybe, but he is syndicated in their books. They do have I'm sure he has books and merch.
Well, okay.
Things like that.
I understand.
That's lucrative.
I understand. But so he got kicked out of all of the newspapers pretty much, and his distributor will no longer work with him.
So you think they weren't paying him very much anyway?
Well, this is what I think. The announcement that came out this morning, Scott Adams announced that Dilbert will now only be available for those who have subscriptions to his website. And that he gets all the money for. That's all money that goes directly to him.
Yeah, I think you're on to something there. Maybe he was ready to sign a new contract and they weren't offering him much, and he thought, what the hell?
I think this is exactly what I think happened. Now, I could be wrong. I have no inside knowledge. I do not know Scott Adams.
Who's going to subscribe to get a cartoon?
Well, now he's a conservative victim, so that'll attract this. Let me tell you what I think happened. A few weeks ago, Steven Crowder was griping and causing all kinds of problems. And I think Steven Crowder inspired Scott Adams to get out of the deals that he had with both his distributor and these newspapers that he had to have had contracts with.
I think what happened, real quick, to piggyback off what you're saying, it's possible that he was getting ready to do new contracts and he got wind that they weren't going to renew it.
Or not pay him what he wanted.
Or not pay him what he wanted. And because it's really strange that he would self-destruct like this after 30 years. It's bizarre. So I think you're right. There's a reason he did it. And either he wanted out of his not lucrative contracts and be on his own, or he was hearing from people that work at these newspapers or whatever. He saw the writing on the wall and thought, you know what? But I don't know why he figured I'll say something that'll just get me canceled across the board.
It got him out of all of his contracts.
It did.
And now he's got, now this is what happened with Steven Crowder, okay? There's a lot of people who are in the business of offering their content behind what's called a paywall. I'm sure you've heard of a paywall. The Daily Caller has a thing like this, The Blaze, where you have to pay a subscription to see a lot of their content. Some of it's for free. Crowder.
We don't have that.
No. But Crowder was with The Blaze for a long time, and he had this thing called the Mug Club. And the Mug Club was a subscription service that was done, that he had a lot of subscribers to, where you got exclusive content, and he talked about things he couldn't talk about on other platforms.
Yeah.
And when he lost his relationship with The Blaze, all that Mug Club stuff belonged to The Blaze.
That's right.
The list, the mailing list, the email list, and all that belonged to The Blaze, not him. So he lost that. And Mark Dice, this is not me thinking about this, Mark Dice did a series of videos talking about Steven Crowder going public with this offer from Ben Shapiro's Daily Wire about how paying him millions of dollars a month was slave wages and all this stuff. And what Mark Dice is the one who talked about the Mug Club, and now he's got a new Mug Club, and he did this. He went public with this thing to get the new Mug Club. He figures he can make more money on his own with his new Mug Club. And he did this whole thing about Big Con, this big conservative industry and everything, to get publicity and to make him a victim.
Right.
Come to me, I'm the real conservative.
To get people to leave Daily Wire and go to him.
Or something. But he did it.
So this is the same
Mark Dice thinks it was a racket that Crowder was running to get people to come to his new thing. I'm not Big Con. I'm the real deal. And I think there's some truth to that. And I think it's very possible that Scott Adams saw an opportunity, started doing the numbers, and figured he may have fewer readers, but he'll get to keep all the money, and he'll make a lot more money if you have to subscribe to his website or whatever he has to get Dilbert.
And it's not that difficult to get canceled these days.
No.
It's really not. I mean,
Yeah, so I think it's very possible that Scott Adams did this on purpose. And I know a lot of people think that's crazy.
No, I think you're right. You've made your case.
And I can understand that your immediate reaction might be that's crazy. But I think those of you out there that think I'm nuts right now, if you think about it, will agree with me. Okay, now I tweeted an article I saw about a television show I have never heard, and I got a warning on Twitter about it. This says here, we put a warning on this tweet because it might have sensitive content. And I tweeted an article from the Daily Mail about a reality TV show that I've never heard of, and I just thought it was so bizarre, called MILF Manor.
I've heard of this.
Now, if you don't know what a MILF is, you guys, you got to go figure that out on your own. Let me read this article.
I've heard of this show.
This is on TLC.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Now, TLC, what kind of cable outlet is TLC? I thought that was like Home Improvements.
No, TLC does a lot of, it used to be, they had Trading Spaces.
Yeah.
Now they have like these really bad reality TV shows.
But it used to be like Home Improvement stuff, right?
I think so, and now I think it's more like, what is 90 Day Fiancé? Is that on TLC or is that on?
I'm not sure.
That's a good show, but this is utter garbage.
This show,
utter garbage.
This show should be illegal. Listen to this.
I can't believe this is on television.
Let me go through this article. The TLC series MILF Manor. I think we got to watch the first episode of this.
MILF is mom. I'd like to F.
Yeah, people can figure that out. Yeah. I might watch the first episode of this.
You're alone on that.
Okay.
The Bible tells you be careful what you watch.
Well, just so we can talk about it, Kathy, from an educated viewpoint. It's hard for me to believe this is even real, but let me read through this article. The TLC series MILF Manor has quickly cemented its place as one of the most controversial reality shows to ever hit the small screen, and it launched just last month.
I would say it is the most controversial TV show I've ever heard of.
Yeah. Well, ranging from the ages of 40 to 60, the cast of women travel to a seaside mansion in Mexico, only to, and they're going there to meet young men that want to marry older women.
Right.
When they get to the seaside mansion in Mexico, they discover that the young men there are their Gen Z sons.
Yes. Their sons.
Sunday's episode saw the men perform blindfolded massages on their nearly naked mothers.
Oh my God.
Much to the horror of viewers.
This is going to sound nuts, but liberals like to normalize everything. And this almost feels to me like
it's incest, Kathy.
Right. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I don't know anything about the show, only what I've read. This almost sounds to me like somebody that greenlit this show or people behind this show are trying to normalize incest. And there are people, believe it or not, that are trying to normalize these kind of behaviors. And this is how it happens, guys. I'm not saying we think it's normal
is the
or
first
you
step.
think it's normal.
This is the first step.
But this is how these things happen. People get desensitized to these things. And young people that watch this stuff, after a while, it's kind of like, in the Clockwork Orange, when they make you watch something over and over again, it alters your brain.
So this past week, they had the young men blindfolded perform massages on their nearly naked mothers. The week before,
that's just gross.
The mothers and sons took part in a bizarre sex education session. They were led into, this is 2 weeks ago, they were led into a room of the house where this is mothers and sons.
Did you ever do this with your mother when you were in your 20s? My God.
I wouldn't do this with my mother when I'm in my thousands, okay?
That's insane.
They were led into, now keep in mind, these are mothers and sons. They were led into a room of the house where they found sex toys, fruits, and a board. I'm talking slow just in case there's some inappropriate words. And a board with drawings of female anatomy. As the mothers picked the boys to answer a series of questions, it resulted in shocking scenes, such as one contestant, Ryan W., showcasing his oral capabilities on a doll in front of his own mother. It all proved too much for one mom, Stephanie, age 46, who got up and left the room in disgust over the game.
Thank God somebody has some sense at least.
Stephanie said, I think sex talk should definitely be kept to yourself or with your partner. I don't think it should be discussed in public or your kids. The series has been sparking continued shock. And now I'm not going to watch this, by the way. I didn't realize how bad this was. I will not watch this.
This is pure garbage.
I withdraw that statement.
Yeah. I don't think you realize how bad it is.
I had no idea. The series has been sparking continued shock and outrage online, with one Twitter user stating, MILF Manor is a weird mix of pedophilia, grooming, and in all kinds of bizarre
I don't know what they're thinking. Trading Spaces was such a great show. We used to watch it. And TLC has some good shows, but this, to me, whoever had this idea needs a psych evaluation. And whoever greenlit this also has some major Freudian issues, Oedipus complex, whatever you want to call it. I mean, this to me is just void of any morals at all. It's immoral.
Well, okay.
And it's shocking. And to put something like this on television for ratings and to get people to talk about you is pure evil.
Okay, this is what's going on.
So bad.
Kathy mentioned it a minute ago.
I mean,
what the left are doing is desensitizing American society to everything.
That's right.
And let me tell you,
they want to normalize it.
This show should be illegal.
It should be.
Okay. There used to be a set of taboos in our society. There is only one taboo left, and they just broke it. The one taboo...
Well, and pedophilia.
Well, that's the same thing. Pedophilia and incest are equal. The pedophilia and incest, I put in the same thing, okay? pedophilia and incest, those are the only taboos in our society right now because of what liberals have done.
Yeah.
And this show has tackled incest. And I can't even believe this. When I read this article,
it's shocking.
What shocked me the most about it was this was an American television show.
And it's still on TV.
I thought this was something on in France or something.
You know what it says about entertainment in our society? It says that they have done everything and shown everything in entertainment. There's nothing left to show that shocks people. This is what they have to do to shock you, is have sons rubbing their mothers. Because they have crossed so many boundaries with entertainment, that this is what's left. And Brian and I, we've been watching 8 is Enough, right? I hate to keep referencing that, but last night there was an episode
We've been binging 8 is
where
Enough.
Nancy goes on a date with a guy, and at the end of the night, Nancy's character is over 18. And the guy walks her to the door and kisses her goodnight, and that's it. And it's a very gentlemanly, proper thing to do. And I told Brian, I said, if this was written today, they'd be in bed together on their first date. They'd be showing it. It would be very graphic, and there's no morality anymore. And it's so bad that they have to resort to incest to get people to be shocked. That's how bad society is. Nothing phases anybody anymore. So they figure, you know what? Let's bring on sons and moms, and let's really shock people. I mean, this is how low they have to go to get a reaction out of their audience. I think it's disgusting.
Well,
and I just can't believe there's people in this world that watch this garbage.
What's going on now with the sex change operations going on with children and everything that's been normalized, as crazy as it sounds, it started with this kind of stuff.
Sodom and Gomorrah we're living in right now.
Yeah, it started with this kind of stuff. And when they take incest, which is what they've done here, and they get good-looking people, so it's to try to make it more acceptable because they're they're
obviously
hot people.
Nobody wants to
and
TV.
This is step one. There'll be another thing down the road.
Push it a little further.
Yeah. And
fathers and daughters.
And they're trying to normalize normalize incest here. And I'll tell you what.
Yeah, they are.
If this isn't stopped, they will. And this is a scary thing. If this happened a few years ago, you'd have a Christian leader out there.
Right.
Like, what is going on? This is crazy.
Kirk Cameron?
Where are our Christian leaders?
Yeah, we need a Christian leader.
We don't have a Christian leader in this country anymore.
They're afraid, Brian. They're afraid of getting canceled, and they're afraid to step up to the plate. I believe Kirk Cameron, he's really building a following with this library thing, and people are going by the hundreds and thousands. I would go to meet him at a library. I grew up watching Growing Pains. I had posters of Kirk Cameron in my room. I loved him in high school. I would go to meet him. I don't like his sister, though. But anyway, I feel he could lead. They're having all these revivals on these college campuses now, which is really nice. Mm-hmm. They're having a lot of Christian revivals. I feel he could really lead a Christian revival nationwide. He's the real deal. I mean, he is extremely... But he needs a church. He needs a place to go. I'm surprised he's not a pastor at this point.
He needs a TV church like the 700 Club.
Exactly. He does have an interview show, but he needs to be on a bigger platform with a bigger audience. Joel Osteen is not going to lead anybody to God. I'm sorry. That guy is a fraud. And if you like him, I hate to break it to you, but the guy is a fraud. But you have people like Joyce Meyer, who's good, Charles Stanley. You have all these people, and I don't understand why they're not, like you said, doing more. They're in their bubble, and they're supposed to be reaching out to people that, that's why Jesus came for the sinner. We're all sinners, but he came for the people that really needed it. And they need to have a leader, like you said, and maybe it can be Kirk Cameron, maybe somebody else who comes out and says, this is absolutely disgusting, and we need to hit the reset button on our country because we're destroying our children here. And parents are letting it happen. I mean, when you see some of these libs of TikTok, or you see some of these parents on TikTok, the way they are with their children and taking their young children to get their breasts removed or ovaries removed, these are sick freaking people. They're sick people, and they need help. Because to me, that is just so disturbing that you would take a 12-year-old to get a breast removal surgery or get ovaries removed. And I've said this on the show before, that people are going to start coming forward and suing. And there was a story in the Daily Mail, I put it in your Facebook group. This woman had like 9 surgeries to become a man, and they performed them on her when she was under 18, and she's suing the hospital now.
Yeah,
she should sue her parents because she said, I didn't know what I was doing, and I was sucked in, and I can't take it back. You know, I don't understand any parent that would allow their child to alter their body in that way at that kind of an age.
No,
That's sickening.
I agree.
What's happening to this society? And it's, let me tell you, it's happening here. You don't see this stuff in other countries. This is mainly in the United States, and I don't know why. You're not going to see this kind of stuff going on in Italy or Switzerland or even England like it is here, or Canada. There's something about us and our addiction to social media and our propensity to follow the lead, to follow the crowd. That's strictly American. And I love America, but people, something's got to be done. This is crazy.
Well, this MILF Manor is not a joke. And I mean, I can't believe that this show exists, and it's on TLC, and it needs to be pulled off the air.
TLC.
This is the beginning of something really bad. Now, listen, we're going to take our last break. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be right back.
The new book from author Jose Mauricio Mendoza, Golden Trump Statue, An Immigrant's Journey, is now available. Author Jose Mauricio Mendoza appreciates President Trump, his policies, and the United States. In this book, the author intends to share what he's learned being brought to this country as an undocumented immigrant as a baby and grew up to be a devoted American to his core. Golden Trump Statue illustrates the entire process of creating the Golden Trump Statue, iconic in its own right and nicknamed the Golden Calf. The Golden Trump Statue has appeared at Trump rallies, CPAC, and at the front gate of Donald Trump's home, Mar-a-Lago. It's been covered on CNN, Univision, Politico, The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, the BBC, Inside Edition, The Washington Post, and many other media outlets. Order your copy of Golden Trump Statue, An Immigrant's Story, from author Jose Mauricio Mendoza, available on Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, and the author's website, josemauricio.net. Do you love cool gadgets and awesome TikToks? Then you need to check out Style of Desire on TikTok. They also have an online store, styleofdesire.com. Style of Desire carry items that are hot, trendy, and will make your life better. They have everything from electronics, home decor for the bathroom, bedroom, living room, the kitchen, skincare items, pet items, clothing, hair care, makeup and jewelry, items for men and women, oils, soaps, candles, sneakers, pet items, watches, sunglasses, and that's just the beginning. Enjoy free shipping on all orders over $50. That's right, free shipping, as well as 10% off your first order. Follow their TikTok at Style of Desire to see their latest and greatest products in action. That's Style of Desire on TikTok. They help families and children in Africa that count on them for food, clothing, schooling, medical needs, and more. So when you shop, you're helping those in need. Check out their online store right now, styleofdesire.com. That's styleofdesire.com. When you give a gift, you want to give a gift that's special, memorable, as well as unique. And that's what you will find at Lavington Designs on Etsy. Lavington Designs is an embroidery shop stocked with monogrammed and personalized gifts that are perfect for everyone you're gift shopping for every occasion too. Birthdays, the first day of school, anniversaries, holidays, or just to give a gift because you want to let someone know you care. Lavington Designs have hundreds of items to choose from: monogrammed home decor, ladies' fashions, men's gifts, gifts for children of all ages, including babies, wedding gifts, sports bags, and that's just the beginning. And everything can be personalized just for you. Visit the shop right now, online at etsy.com/shop/Lavington Designs LLC. View the inventory and start shopping for that perfect gift. And they offer free shipping. Etsy.com/shop/Lavington Designs LLC. Etsy.com/shop/Lavington Designs LLC. Discover the true story of the Bataan Death March from a Bataan survivor, Edward Higginbotham Sr., from author Edwin Higginbotham Jr. We Shall Return and Survive. Available on Amazon. In We Shall Return and Survive, follow the story of a World War II Army private who was sent to the Philippines in 1941 and the lasting impact of his bravery, strength, and love. It's a deeply moving memoir with its share of tragedies and heartfelt stories that will leave you wondering how the family managed to survive. We Shall Return and Survive is a must-read for anyone who loves romances and war stories and can truly appreciate the value of a family's underlying love for one another. It's a reminder of what truly matters and a story you won't want to put down. From author Edward Higginbotham Jr., We Shall Return and Survive. Order your copy on Amazon right now.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Okay, so Joy Reid is just having a panic attack. And she made a video she posted online. This was not from her television show, but this is and she's really upset about Tucker Carlson being given the January 6th footage by Kevin McCarthy. So I want to play some of this, and then I want to talk about it because I think it's pretty important.
Hey guys, hello friends. I just have to say this. You know, we are living in a very strange and bizarre time in our republic. When the nominal Speaker of the House, and I say nominal Speaker because let's just be clear, Kevin McCarthy is not the Speaker of the House. The House of Representatives is run by a gang of insurrectionists and extremists, the Paul Gosars, Marjorie Greens, Matt Gaetzes, the Andy Biggs, the insurrectionists run the House of Representatives. Kevin just has the gavel. But in fulfilling a promise to them, which he had to promise them in order to get the votes to become Speaker after 15 votes, he is preparing to hand over to only one person, not a journalist, but the entertainer-in-chief at Fox News, their primetime main entertainer, Tucker Carlson, we call Tuckums. He's going to hand Tucker Carlson exclusively 41,000 hours of raw surveillance footage from the Capitol from January 6th. Think about that for a second. This one person who has already made a propaganda documentary and used his show to promote the lie that January 6th was not an insurrection, was not violent, was not anything that we saw with our own two eyes that it was, and with the January 6th committee through hundreds of hours of testimony, sworn testimony under oath from Republicans, people who were members of the White House staff. None of that. They want to try to dispute that.
Okay. So she goes, okay. Last number I heard was 46 hours of footage. I don't know if that's changed since. Tucker Carlson's being given all of the raw footage by Kevin McCarthy. He'll have a whole team of people go through it, and then he'll share his findings. And I'm very excited about this, but it's not going to end there. Once the footage has been given to Tucker and he's done with it, it's going to be given to other members of the media as well. And I know we watched a lot of January 6th live, but there's a lot we did not see. And I think it's very important for the American people to see all of the January 6th footage. And you know that the left have across the board are in a panic that people are going to see the unedited raw footage from the Capitol breach.
They've taken footage and edited it for themselves. So why can't he do the same thing?
Well, he can't show 46 hours. It's got to be. But I think the American people should see every second of it.
I agree.
And I don't fear it. You know, even if the 46 hours or however many hours it is, even if the footage did not clear Trump and MAGA, I still would want people to see it.
I think they should upload it all to the internet.
I want people to know the truth. And let me tell you, it's very important to do this, okay? The Kennedy assassination is a mystery and a conspiracy theory because the government, even still to this day, has hidden the information from the Warren Commission and other investigations back in the time involving the Kennedy assassination. And look at what happens. There's crazy conspiracy theories and everything else. I think Bobby Kennedy's theory, Robert Kennedy Jr. is the theory that's accurate. I'm not going to go through that, but he's talked about it a lot. You guys can look. He did a detailed interview with Megyn Kelly about a year ago
that was
about
good.
the assassination of his father, Bobby Kennedy, and his uncle, President Kennedy, and I think he's right on. But getting all of the information, which the first step is the videos, will end debate, and we will really know.
And why shouldn't he have access to
the
it?
left,
So only she should have access to this?
Well, they want to spin it. The left are panicked
they are.
at what the footage may show.
Yeah.
And they've already, before Tucker has done any reporting on the footage, they've already said, well, his reporting's no good, before they've even seen it.
Exactly.
So how can they say his reporting is no good without having seen it? They're afraid of something or many things maybe being revealed in this footage. I fear nothing. Not because I know that it's not, that day wasn't what they claim that it was, but I'm not in fear of the truth about a very important moment in American history. I think we all need to see it, and anyone who doesn't want you to see it is wants the government to hide something.
Yeah.
Like the reason,
Well, they're laying the groundwork that he's not credible, he's dishonest.
But because they don't want us to see the footage.
Right. So they're laying that before he puts anything out. They're already laying the groundwork that it's not going to be genuine or
they want CNN to get it and edit it. They don't want the raw footage available. And it would not surprise me if after Tucker goes through it and does his presentations of it, he may put all of the raw footage online on their app for people to see. I think Kevin McCarthy, after Tucker Carlson, I think it's good to give it to Tucker Carlson, and I'll tell you why. If they gave it to everybody at once, you would get political spin on it.
Right.
Since Tucker Carlson's the one that has it, he's going to go through it and do some real reporting. Then everybody else gets it. I think Kevin McCarthy should make all the footage available to the public online.
I agree.
Totally. And so everybody can see the raw footage.
Yep.
The Kennedy assassination was 60 years ago. There's no reason for them to continue to classify anything. Pretty much everyone that was connected with anything to do with it is dead.
Yeah.
There's very few people alive today that, and if they are, they're really old, that would have any connection to anything bad. But they don't, because the government had a role in the assassination of President Kennedy and of Bobby Kennedy, and they don't want the public to know that the deep state which is what Robert Kennedy's theory is, killed President Kennedy and killed Bobby Kennedy.
Vietnam.
Yeah. So that's why they continue to hide it. At this,
it wasn't about Marilyn Monroe. Right, give me a break. It was about Vietnam.
There's a rule of thumb about history and classified documents.
Yeah.
That history should not be, this is kind of a rule of thumb for historians. History should not be written until at least 50 years until after the events, because then there's no bias, there's no conflicts, because I shouldn't say there's no bias, but the people involved are dead or out of the loop, so you don't have that kind of impact. And we're more than 50 years, we're 60 years later, it should all be out there. I think Kevin McCarthy giving all this footage to Tucker Carlson is a great move, and I am very confident that Kevin McCarthy will release all of this information to the public.
When did she tweet this?
This was a few days ago.
I wonder if he talked about it, because she's trolling Tucker. She's trying to get Tucker to talk about her on his show. You know what I mean? Because she wants to get more people, get more attention. So she's trolling him too. We call him Tuckums.
I
can't stand her.
He has the highest rated show in the history of cable news.
Well, that's why she's trolling him. And
she's jealous.
She's desperate for him to even mention her name.
He should not even. He should not even mention any of this. But
I agree.
But the story with the footage, no one should have any fear of that footage.
Right.
If it showed that Trump did something, I would still want them to show it.
Yeah.
Okay, Trump didn't do anything wrong.
Obviously, they haven't arrested him. They haven't done anything.
But why
because there's nothing there?
But these high-profile Democrats are in such a panic that the public are going to get to see the footage. Well, they know something about that footage that we don't.
Maybe.
Right? They really do. And Tucker Carlson could spend 6 months going through this footage and releasing stories on it on a very regular basis.
Yeah.
I think what he should do is do like a Friday or a Monday show just about the footage until he's done with it, because I think there's too big of a story to put it in like a 1 or 2 hours. I think it's something that.
Do you think this was part of his deal to get elected? Probably. To
Kevin
release
McCarthy?
The footage to Tucker?
The footage is being released, I believe, because of Donald Trump. I think part of the deal that they made, This footage being released is probably why Matt Gaetz and those others were holding out on Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah.
This is probably the big thing that Trump wanted.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
And they agreed to it. I absolutely.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is becoming extremely powerful in the House, and she has really positioned herself in a very powerful spot.
Oh, yes.
And she's could you imagine if she became speaker one day? Oh my gosh, that would be incredible.
You know, Kathy, I was talking about this morning.
That would just totally, they'd lose it over that.
Now, President Trump is not in Washington. He controls McCarthy, of course, and she works for Trump.
Yep.
But Marjorie Taylor Greene is the most powerful person in Congress right now.
I think so.
She's more powerful than Kevin McCarthy, and she's also the most powerful Republican in Washington right now.
And thankfully she's aligned with Trump. And I don't think I would love to see her as his VP, but I think she has more power where she is. She's not going to, when you're vice president, you have no power other than voting if there's a divide in the Senate. But she has more power where she is. And I'm sure she has aspirations to be the speaker one day. Can you imagine? That could happen.
Oh, yeah.
That could happen.
It absolutely could.
She's very ambitious, and she, unlike Boebert, who I think is a bimbo, I'm sorry, Marjorie Taylor Greene is very savvy and knows what she's doing and knows how to play the game very well. And luckily, she is on our side, thank goodness, because she's,
you know what it is? Okay. Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Boebert, I wouldn't say she's a bimbo. I just think she's juvenile in her thinking. And
I just don't like her.
She's not a serious person like Marjorie.
No.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is
a bimbo.
Not Marjorie Taylor Greene.
No, Lauren Boebert. She's a bimbo.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is barely into her second term, and she's the most powerful Republican in Congress.
That says a lot about her.
Amazing. No one moves that quick.
No.
And by the way,
look at AOC.
And by the way, she doesn't come from one of these political dynasties like Romney where things are handed. She's in with Trump. She's loyal to Trump, and Trump repays loyal people and put her in this spot. And who would have thought?
Yeah,
it's
I was
amazing.
really surprised when she had that phone and had DT on her phone, and she called him, and he called her or whatever right after during that time going on. I thought that was very interesting, and it definitely changed my mind about her because
absolutely
we were giving her a hard time for aligning with McCarthy, and then we realized that they have been working with Trump all along, the two of them.
That's right.
And I don't know what Joy Reid's talking about. McCarthy's not in charge. He is in charge. Sorry, Joy, that you can't accept the fact.
Well, she means
just
Trump's.
Want to discount
no. What she means is Trump's in charge and he's a puppet for Trump, which is true, and that's a good thing. We want Trump puppets in Washington.
Well, I don't know if he's a puppet or if he's working with him. That doesn't make you a puppet if you're collaborating with somebody and working together. That doesn't mean you're a puppet if you're on the same page.
I don't think he wanted to.
A puppet is when somebody tells you and controls you completely. Yes. But if he's on the same page as Trump, does that make him a puppet if he's in line with him?
I think he was in with the Never Trumpers, but he wanted to be speaker, and he walked away from that and sold out to Trump.
Maybe he was never in with the Never Trumpers. Maybe he wanted them to think that.
Well, I do know this. Everything that Kevin McCarthy has done since he's become speaker has been perfect.
Yes, it's been good.
So, hey, listen, we're out of time, guys, but we will be back next time. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We will talk to you next time.